Hey folks, Gene here from GenoTac Industries. I've been getting a lot of questions about weapon lights that I carry recently. Figured I'd go ahead and do a video and explain my thought process from my experience on picking a good weapon light. There's a couple considerations to look at, or specs that you need to look at when purchasing a weapon light. This is what I go by. One, obviously, is going to be the brightness of the light. 2 is power source. 3, the mounting system. 4, the switch. 5, backplate and backplate options, the size of the weapon light, and additional features of the weapon light. We're going to go through every single one of them and cover all this. First off, I have pretty much some common platforms and one that's not very common. This one is the Sig STL-900 2nd generation. The old school, I won't say old school, but this is the old school M3 from Insight. The new Streamlight TLR-1S. I don't have the HL yet, but this would fit the HL holster. Insight WL1AA, and the SureFire X300 Ultra. And brightness. SureFire X300 Ultra, I know it's rated at 500 lumens, so it's a fairly bright white light. Insight WL1AA is rated at 150 lumens max. I know the Streamlight TLR-1S is rated at 300 lumens. I am pretty sure the M3, I don't have the box of this anymore, is rated at 60. And the STL-900 2nd gen is rated at 130 lumens. It is also has a laser on it. Power source. All of these that I know of, or I know definitely, all this runs in CR123 batteries, lithium 3 volts. The WL1AA on the other hand runs with AA batteries, obviously WL1AA. I think it was a good idea by Insight to start coming out with a weapon light that uses AA batteries as a power source. Readily available everywhere and cheaper, mostly cheaper than the CR123s that the rest of these hold. Mounting systems. Mounting systems, usually most of this would fit the Glock rail, other than some changes in the bar or the locking bar in the middle. And I know all of them are going to fit the 1913 Picatinny rails, which a lot of guns and AR-15s and rifles run. Most of y'all know. So the mounting systems on this too. This one is to be the clamp and screw. I don't like the STL way because it's actually screwed on. It uses a screw to tighten and loosen up the clamp. Alright. Locking bar with the old M3. You can change the bar by pressing the spring down. TLR-1S or any TLR series have the spring clamp and lockdown with the screw. Very great system there. X300 Ultra, SureFire. Locking bar also like the old M3 style. And I'm liking the WL1AA by Insight. It's a throw lever clamp. Easy on, easy off, and positive lock on the weapon. We're going to talk about keep talking about the mounting systems. I'm not sure why SureFire stayed with a locking bar instead. You know, most of you know how this mounts onto a gun. No mag, slide lock back. Obviously, there's no ammo. This just slides on the rail, push back, and it snaps into place. Now, if you're running this in a 1913 Picatinny rail on an AR-15 rifle, you're definitely going to need to have some sort of stop at the back of it. Because if not, if you slide it on the rail, it'll just keep sliding down the rail and keep going until it stops on something solid. Same, this and this have the same tendencies. This actually stops. It locks in place, but it's only being stopped backwards due to the trigger guard. Same with the SureFire X300. And that is why I like the clamp system, locking system instead, because this one you can actually mount on any rail, lock it down, and this is not going to move, either on the Glock pistol or on a Picatinny rail. Same system with the WL1AA from Insight. Very easy on and off. It's not going anywhere, either on here or in the Picatinny rail also. So you got to take that into consideration where you're going to run your weapon lights. Now obviously this is the screwed on clamp system, so this is not going to move the same way. I'm going to throw it on the gun to show you how this one actually sits on here. And here's the problem with it, is it takes forever to clamp it back down. I don't know how many people run this lights. I run this on my shotgun for home defense, so I can walk around with the shotgun on my hip instead and just point the laser on a target. But there it goes, the mounting systems. Now we're going to talk about the switches. How the rocker switches work. That's a totally different spec other than the backplate. So we're just going to talk about the switches. SureFire X300, most SureFires have the momentary switch where you push on any of the levers on the switches and the light will come on. It is a one-piece rocker switch, so what that means is both the left and the right hand side switches are connected with one bar. So if I press this down, the switch on the right, the switch on the left goes up. So it's a one-piece system. It rocks. Now SureFire is both constant on either up or down in either way, and the momentary is just a press. Same situation with the M3. It's confusing because it's opposite on one side and the other. It's momentary on the left side down, momentary on the right side up. Lock constant on the going up on the left side, going down on the right side. So that's a situation there with the one-piece locking, one-piece switches. Same thing with the TLR-1S. Opposite, momentary down on the left, momentary up on the right, constant on up on the left, constant on down on the right. So depending on how you're holding your weapon, you need to figure out what you want to do with it. Two-piece switches, very good idea. I know Insight did this with the WL1AA. It's two separate switches. I know they're Insight Procyon, however you pronounce it, WX150 now. I'm not sure if they discontinued that model, but I'm pretty sure they did because there's problems with the backplate. Anyway, it's a separate switch on either side. So with this system, you can press down and it's momentary on the right. You can press down and it's momentary on the left. Both locking are up on each side. Okay, and that is why I like the two-piece switches. An even better thing that Sig came out with is a pressure pad. Now the Enforce APL, Enforce WML's Weaponlight, which I'm waiting on to get my APL, has the same concept, only it's a paddle, but momentary. You just put slight pressure on it, light goes on. Same on either side. Do a click press and it stays constant on. So very easy system. The problem with this system, like with the SureFire, you bump something and it's going to come on. Okay, so you got to keep track on that. You hit this on the side of your holster, on your clothing, whatever piece of gear that you have on you while carrying your weapon, it's going to flash. So you need to keep that in mind when you're using this type of system. SureFires and the N4s and the Sig. You could accidentally turn your light on. Backplates. Backplates, you usually want to have some sort of locking mechanism on it in place, and you want the backplate either attached or detachable backplate. Now the SureFire X300 Ultra I know has a locking lever. Press down here, it opens up and it's on a hinge, so you're never going to lose that backplate. Okay. Now I'm not sure if they have a weapon, a long gun option for this, but I'm pretty sure they do. I think you just knock out the pins and change the backplate, and you can have the long gun switch. But it's one thing to look at. The old M3, the backplate totally comes off, and this usually be your weapon's gonna be on top of it, so there's really no chance of this coming loose. But if you're running this in a long gun, get something hinged right there between the rail and the backplate switch or backplate lock, you can pop this off easy. So if you're going to run this in a long gun, it might be where you tape it up or something. That won't happen with the SureFire, since you actually have to press from back here. Well, actually it could happen with the SureFire, because guess what, the locking system is on the outside, so you got to be where you hit that in a piece of gear and that could fly off. But the good thing is the back plate's hinged. Streamlight, the TLR-1, very good locking system. This is just not going to pop off. Okay, this is on the rail side of the pointing towards the gun where the locking mechanism is, and when you push it down, you actually have to pull this over and out, lift it up, and it hinges. It stays as one piece. You can actually, it won't come off. So that's hinged up. It locks in the groove at the bottom in the open position, push back up and lock it. So this is a very good system to not loose your back plate, or for a long gun, running this with a long gun, because the back plate's locking system is back towards the rail. In sight, WL1AA latch, and the back plate totally comes off. There's a tab and hole, and it locks back on. Now this could cause some problems because it doesn't take much to unlock it. Slight pressure on this locking mechanism right here and it pops right off. So this would probably not be a good option with this back plate to run it with a long gun. I know they sell a separate back plate for the long gun with a tape switch. I don't know what the mechanism on that is. The SIGs, very good design, I would say, though it's flimsy. Locking screw, plate opens, it's hinged. Screw does not come out, it's retained. This uses one CR123 battery. Lock in place and screw it back on. I don't think there's any backplate options for this. Alright, now we're going to go ahead and compare the sizes of this thing. I'm going to be moving the camera a little bit here. I'm going to line this up to the back to where the trigger guard actually would be on the weapon. Not where the switches are, but where the back of the back plate is. That way you can tell the differences in length. One, two, three, 4 inches. The SureFire is I think 3.75, 3.5 inches long. The M3 is just a tad bit longer than the TLR-1 due to the battery or power source options of the WL1AA. Obviously AA's are longer than CR123s. It's going to have a little longer. And the Sig STL. So the shortest of all of these, I think, well, I'm pretty sure I know, it's a Streamlight TLR-1S series. I'm going to go ahead and compare the profile of it for you guys. Get my camera back in place. I'm just going to put this at the biggest point on the line. The widest point, sorry. Obviously the thickest one right here would be the Sig. Slimmest low profile one would be the WL1AA. SureFire comes next on the slimmest. and I'm pretty sure the M3 and the TLR-1 is about the same size. Now I'm going to go ahead and do body width for you. About the 1.5 inches for the M3. An 1 3/8 inches on the SureFire. Inch and 3/8 on the TLR-1S. Inch and a half on the WL1AA. I'm not counting the screw. 1.5 inches on the STL-900 Sig. Additional features on some. Nothing. M3. Bright light. 60 lumens. SureFire X300. No strobe. Just 500 lumens of blinding light. TLR-1S. Most of you know this has a strobe function, and you have to hit it pretty fast in order for it to activate. Obviously, you can, if you're fast enough, go to momentary and then lock. You can lock it in strobe function. So down and then up. TLR-1S. The WL1A also has a strobe function. You don't have to hit the lever as fast as the 1S, and you can do the same thing and lock it in strobe. STL. Now this is a different platform. Obviously it has the laser. Now I know every TLR2 X400 I think has the laser. WL2AA I think has the laser. I know there's a laser version of this. I don't know what its designation number is, but I think it's WL2. Alright, there you have it, folks. The differences between weapon lights, what to look for. I'm trying to pick one for you. I'm going to go ahead and give you my spiel on what I would recommend. My recommendation is my experience, so it might not work for you, but what I usually run at work between all these, I have my TLR-1S. For one that I know, it's a positive locking system on my weapon. Fairly bright, has 300 lumens, and it's bright enough to light up a great distance, and it has a strobe function. Even though I don't like the switch, it's a pretty robust body, aluminum body, I'm pretty sure, so it's going to withstand a lot of stuff. And that's what I run for work. Off duty, I run my Insight WL1AA, double A's. Not really bright, you know, but it's got double A's, it's got the strobe function, it's got the positive locking lever, and it is slim. As you see, it was the slimmest in all of them in body wise. I know it's a little bit longer, but I'm not really worried about that. I'm worried about thickness, body width for inside a waistband carry, or, you know, belt holsters. So those are my two picks. I have not ran the X300 a lot, but I'm already saying I don't really like it. Major backsplash on the amount of lumens this thing holds, 500. So I don't think I'll be running that anytime soon. I'm just going to use that for molding holsters. But yes, TLR-1S for duty, WL1AA for off-duty carry, concealed carry. Well, there you have it, folks. If you have any more questions or comments, just let me know and I'll try to answer them. I'm going to tell you, All this is just done by my experience, my handling on this light systems. So take it for what's it worth. Learn from my experience, adapt it to how it would work for you. What I'm telling you here is not night or day. It's something that you can just pick from, throw in your tool chest, and to make you better prepared. Again, thanks for watching.